Well, good morning. Good morning. Welcome back. I hope everyone's had a good, relaxing weekend and you're ready for a good week of trading. Let's see who we have in so far. The Andersons here. Good morning. Good morning. Esh is back. Welcome as well. Right. We do have a news event at 10 o'clock, so let's be aware of that. And hopefully, anyone in positions already aware and looking for either an exit or make sure their stop loss is placed in a good position. We'll have the opening bell prior to that, but those two different events could be tricky. So just protect yourself if you're in a position. We'll give everyone just a couple more minutes to join. And once they get in, we'll take a look at where we stand, like where we left off on Friday, what overnight activities look like, and what we could expect for today. All right, Kendick is here. Good morning. Your news, TJ. This is Janine. Um, Yep. Just give me a couple minutes, and then I'll walk over and walk you through what I see in the market, and then we'll talk about what we expect for the day. Yeah, TJ, that can be good advice. Definitely, especially if your trading style really doesn't need bias; it just needs whatever the current market condition is. Um, but yeah, I'm not sure how he's trading, but I'll do my best to give him a bias. Morning, Jay. Okay, awesome. All right, I'll go ahead and get going. Just make sure we're done before the opening bell. So if we take a quick peek here at the dollar on the weekly, I had it marked up with these two pools of liquidity. The first one was at 104, looks like 270 ish, and I had that marked up because we on the weekly we have two equal highs here, and prices have been trickling up for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and so I've been expecting this price to be hit, and it looks like it got hit overnight. Even though last week it was on the list as places that price might want to go, and overnight it did get hit. I had two levels marked up, and so even the second level I thought it may go to, which was also about middle distance into this bearish fair value gap, a SIPI here. And I thought it would either hit this first one and maybe start to reverse, or it could climb up to the second pool of liquidity and potentially reverse there. So I'm looking for the dollar to start to push towards lower prices this week. But prior to, I had these two levels marked up. The first one's already been hit. The second level is within striking distance, so it may actually be touched sometime today or tomorrow or early this week. And so we'll just keep monitoring the dollar. And as we look for the dollar, we're expecting lower prices. So sometime soon, we're expecting the dollar to turn around. And now let's get into, let's go into ES for now. Right. So ES still has a value that it hasn't eclipsed the 5029 level. Again, that's adjusted for the quarterly contract. So that may not actually be the all-time high from 2 years ago. But by adjusting the quarterly contracts, that's where we stand. But it's within striking distance, 5029, and right now we're sitting at 49.68. So we're only talking another 60 points or so. And if we're expecting for the dollar to turn around sometime soon and start looking for lower prices, that would pave the way for, for the equity market to start looking for higher prices, potentially after short term looking for lower prices. And on the weekly, we do have a fair value gap that is being formed based on this week's candle. Last week's candle traded to the fair value gap before, so that's already sort of been satisfied. But what we want to see is potentially in the next day or so, a little bit deeper retracement into this area here before pushing for higher prices, before taking out last week's high and ultimately 5029. Let's see if we drop to the daily, if there's anything to note there. Not really. Okay, so on the 4 hour, and this goes back to when I said maybe a slight retracement before pushing for higher prices. On the 4 hour, we see we're already inside of a fair value gap and have been for the last 24 hours of trading. So the second half of Friday and all overnight. So we may actually be in whatever the retracement area is, and there may not be a lower price than 49.64, but we'll see. But again, long term, or at least for the week, we're looking for higher prices, and that could extend to today. But we'll have to see what the 10 o'clock news bring, as well as the opening bell. Let's see. So we see we've already gotten a sweep of lows. During the 8 o'clock hour, it's already swept a low from 4 o'clock. So the London low's already been taken. And we already see it's already reclaimed half of this level here. The last hour candle has already reclaimed half of it. And so potentially we could be seeing it move higher. And then this could be the start of higher prices for us. But we are in consolidation, so we reserve the right for that to continue. Even if we do see a reclaim of this candle, it could still stall here and then continue moving sideways. So not out of the woods yet, but we are monitoring to see when it breaks out. Let's get back up to the weekly and let's grab NQ. All right, so NQ, we did take over those all-time highs a couple of weeks ago, but you can see we're within striking distance of breaking it once again. So I'm still holding a bullish bias to overtake these last 2 weeks highs. I don't know how far we'll go, but definitely push for higher prices. Last week, we did have a retracement into the bullish fair value gap, into about 50% of it. 50%. In fact, just past 50%. So we definitely traded into discount, bought out of that. Didn't quite eclipse last week's high, got really close to it. So that's where I'm expecting a price to move to this week. Nothing really on the daily. Right, if anything, maybe we'll see sweep of the lows here back into the range prior to taking out these highs. Right here on the hourly, there's a bearish fair value gap here, which traded above and closed above. However, immediately afterwards, traded back into the range to the new week opening gap. So just like what we saw on S&P, we saw it moving sideways and consolidating. We have the same thing here on Nasdaq. So although we're looking for higher prices, it may not be ready to break out just yet. It may just trade to somewhere above these session highs from this morning and then back down into the range. So until we see the breakout, we should have that in the back of our mind. It could possibly just remain in the zone that it's in. Right here on the 15-minute, assuming it can break through this fair value gap, then it's definitely going for these session highs here. But that's a big assumption that it breaks through the fair value gap. This is on the 15-minute, so we'll have to wait and see. We do have the opening bell in 2 minutes, so we'll see what happens there. And I will stop talking about the market at the present moment. We'll give the opening bell a chance to breathe and show itself, and then I'll come back. But for now, let me go back to the chat, see who else has joined us this morning. All right, Vivian's in. Good morning, Vivian. Serge, Chuck, Fuego, KB. Good morning, everyone. Striking insight. Oh, okay. All right, DV. Welcome. Good to have you. All right, Bob. Welcome back. Splash. MC Tony's. Morning, everyone. Okay, 1 more minute and we have the opening bell. Paper trade, I use TradingView for paper trading. So a lot of times, but I also use a Topstep because Topstep will come with a practice account as well attached to your regular account. So you can always switch over. Like if you lose a trade and you want to keep practicing, so it'll have the same rules that Topstep has. So I use that sometimes as well, but for the most part, I use TradingView. Yep. So this morning we do have at 10 o'clock, we have ISM service PMI coming. Okay. And this index is based on surveyed purchasing managers. So it's just asking them, how are their purchases compared to before? How are their purchases compared to whatever they budgeted? That kind of thing. So we'll see what the forecast is. 52%. He say anything greater than 50 is good for the economy. I believe the actual greater than forecast is good for currency. Above 50 indicates industry expansion. Okay, so they're looking for 52 as the metric to come in. We'll go and we'll see how everything plays out. Okay. Hey, crypto, good morning. And you know how we like to compare and see what's going on with everyone else. So do that right quick before the opening bell settles and also before the 10 o'clock news event. So we can see so far small range for dollar. Not a lot going on at the moment. Small selling range. The Dow is pushing down majorly, sweeping lows down into this optimal trade entry from last Friday's activity. Okay, I went ahead and put a fib on each of these three this weekend just to see what the retracement looked like on Monday because I could see there was a retracement forming. We're right around equilibrium for S&P. Yep, matter of fact, the lows here just touch equilibrium. And for Nasdaq hasn't even retraced that deeply yet. It's only gotten as far as 38% and then started to show some willingness to go higher. So we have three different profiles here. We have one sitting right at equilibrium, one deep into discount, and another one still hanging out in premium, not even really approaching equilibrium right now. So doing different things completely, two and buying candle profiles and then a deep selling profile over here. So just until we get things to align, which may happen after news, we'll just continue watching price. I think just had a retest at 8:30 open. We can see here on the chart now. Let's go back and take a look at our session highs and lows. So we have the London high already being tested. The Asia high and low is not showing. The Asia high we can see was tested. Asia low, not yet. So London low, Asia low, not tested yet. Hmm. Midnight open down at 684. Back to the new day opening gap here. Yep. So we get a retest of the upper limits of the, excuse me, The upper limits of the new day opening gap. This is where we got the push to test or to at least attempt at sweeping these highs. Didn't quite make it, got about 95% of the way there, but it was a push out of the new day opening gap. And so now here we go with a retest of that same level. We'll either get another attempt up there or we'll get a sweep of lows, and then we'll see if we get another attempt. Morning, Dustin. Welcome in, Tommy. Good to have you. All right, deeper retracement into the new week / new day opening gap. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see where this 5-minute candle lands. It's looking interesting right now, but it still has another 30 seconds to finish. Right now that it's trading and closed below the 8:30 open, it looks like it's trying to push back above that, and that is so far becoming resistance for price, or at least the first minute of the candle. Let's see if it can hold its position above and continue pushing higher. All right, big bro. Good morning. Hmm. Doing good this morning. Doing well. Doing well. Let's see. Regular trading hours. Oh wow. I didn't realize we did not have a real time a regular trading hours gap on Nasdaq. Did not realize that. Okay. Nope, you didn't miss anything. No, we've been on now for about a half hour, and we had the opening bell 15 minutes ago. So far, you've missed nothing. All right, thanks for that, Dustin. That S&P has a real regular time, regular trading hours gap. Sorry, regular trading hours gap. Cool, calm. Good morning, Kimiko. Right. Okay. Yeah, we still have a few more. Well, one more item coming out, King, at 10 o'clock. So another 12 minutes. We have another announcement coming. A high impact folder. All right, Gavin. Good morning. Mm. Still want to see where it closes in relation to the 830 gap, which is here at 17,705. Got another minute on this candle. Okay, midnight open test. Now we've had a sweep of this low. We do have equal lows down at the London low. And again, the London low and Asian low both are still open, have not been retraded to after being created. Looking at the different profiles of the three indices, and pretty much when we took a look at it a few minutes ago, it's about the same at this moment. The only change is we had Nasdaq changing from a bullish profile to now showing a bearish profile for the hour. That's because the last time we looked at it, we were up in this range trading. And so that threshold of below equilibrium and going down to being a bearish profile was somewhere in here. Yep. So it started here at 700. So anything below 700 would show a bearish candle. and that's where we stand right now. And we do have the midnight open here at 684. Let's see if it closes above. We still have 3 more minutes, even though it's traded pretty deeply below. Still has not swept the London low again. Equal lows on the 5-minute. Let's see. Okay, yep. Even on the 15-minute, equal lows. But it's a little lower than London. So on the 5-minute, we have equal lows right here at 673. But on a higher time frame, we have a level down at 664. Hey everyone, I'm going to go and run really quickly, grab a refill of coffee, get back before we have the news event. But I will drop this down to the 1 minute since we are in a macro period. All right, and I'll be right back. Back, and we still have a few minutes before the news event is released. All right, Gavin. Yeah, we'll do our best. Yep, Asia low and London low are still open. Good morning, GC. Young, welcome. Welcome back, Young. Okay. Another 30 seconds, and we'll see what the news event was, and we'll see what the results were as well. All right, here we are. Let's just go and see what the results were. Okay, still pending. All right, we'll come back and check that in a second. Let's just look and see what price action is doing at the moment. He still has not taken out that London low. The New York low now has been placed. It's just a little higher than the London low. Essentially the candle from 10 minutes ago, the start of the macro. And then we have our New York high, which is also open, which is up above the London high. So let's see if we get a sweep of all these lows together. New York and London. Asia is somewhere close. Let's see where in the, okay, it's a little further down. So the Asia low is 672, looks like. Or sorry, 664. 664 is what we're looking for the Asia low. If it sweeps the Asia low as well, it could just leave that one open, sweep the rest of them, and move on. Yeah, let's go back up to the 5-minute here. Okay, there's the New York being swept. London was a couple ticks away, so still looking for it. This level marked up as lunch low is the lunch low from Friday. I'm going to go ahead and reach and change that to the Asia low because that area was retested when price opened up last night. Okay, all right, there it goes. So London low has been swept. New York low has been swept. Asia low still open at 664. Okay. All lows have been traded to now. Only thing still open is New York high, and that's up at 740, 740-ish. I'll go ahead and take off this indicator that has the session highs and lows. They've all been swept now. See a continued meltdown in price. All indices are currently selling similar levels. You see the dollar pushing higher. Earlier when I showed the two different levels I wanted the dollar to trade towards and potentially retrace from, it is really close to that second level. Got within a couple ticks of the second level and started to retrace a little bit, but I'm still optimistic that this hour will take that level. Let's see if we can't see what the results of this morning event was. All right, so 53.4, so higher than forecast. Also representing the expansion. Anything greater than 50 was the expansion. 52 was the forecast. All right, so that's good news for the dollar. Now I feel even more optimistic that the dollar is going to run to those levels that I had marked up. Just it might be a little stronger than we thought, so we'll see when it retraces. Okay. Yeah, MC Tony's, I did not take any. Nope, I didn't. Markets right now just aren't presenting the right opportunities, and the conditions aren't ripe for trading right now. But we could get there shortly, though. I just want to let price settle, especially since we just had a high impact folder. You want to go ahead and let price settle for 20 to 30 minutes. So somewhere around 10:30 is where I'll look to see if there's some opportunities out there. Okay. Where you go. I'm not going to say it's one of those days, but it definitely is starting that way. We'll see how it develops. But I completely understand why you have that position. 2 and 2.5. Okay. Okay. Yeah. see where I think we might land. Thinking 578 to 603, so somewhere in that 25-point range, but maybe even further than 578, maybe a little deeper. But we'll see. But I think it's somewhere in that upper fives, low six range that we'll retrace to. And it could go even further, but that's just where I'm expecting to see potentially a turnaround. But yeah, let's watch and see how far it goes in the next 15 minutes. At 10:30, let's reassess and see where price is. Okay. So far, so in the Dow, we've got a complete retracement of Friday's levels. Friday's trading has completely been traded below. It's now into Thursday's trading. Hmm. Let's go back and give everybody a flavor of the other indices at the moment. Okay, we can see the dollar pushing right up against that second level. I think it's still not quite there yet. It's a high at 104.554. We need to get to 557, so it's literally right there. Just for whatever reason hasn't punched through. We see the Dow completely sweeping Friday's trading. This was Friday's expansion leg. And that's when I said it's down into Thursday's level. So it's over here where Thursday was trading around lunchtime, or actually before. S&P is in the, the optimal trade entry, the sweet spot there. Still approaching the 78%. But still pushing for lower prices. And then we have something similar over on the Nasdaq, except it's just trailing behind. So Nasdaq hasn't quite gotten to 62% retracement level yet, whereas S&P is really close to 78. And as I mentioned, the Dow is did a complete retracement. So we'll see if the other two follow the Dow, or if the Dow just needed to do the retracement on its own because of its strength from last week. And then we see S&P and Nasdaq find some sort of foothold down in this optimal trade entry. So we'll just keep monitoring price. We have another 10 minutes before we get to the 10:30 mark. And so I'll check back just around that time and we'll see where we are. Good job, Dustin. Absolutely. Yeah. If you're going to step away from the chart, make sure you protect yourself and you have your stop loss already set up and available and your take profit and everything. So yes, I know it's a little heartbreaking. You felt like you could have taken this entire move down. But yeah, find confidence in the fact that you could see the direction and that you protected yourself when you weren't sitting at the charts. And then you'll catch the next one. It could be. Yeah, it could be actually be Friday's low. I don't know if you heard, but I just mentioned the Dow has already taken out Friday's low. Nasdaq is moving in that direction. I'm sorry, S&P is moving in that direction as well. All day moves. I hope not. Don't say that. But we'll see. Yeah, let's take price as it comes, and if it looks like it's going to be a continuation, then maybe we'll look for a short setup soon. All right, crypto. Take care. We'll talk to you this afternoon. Okay. All right. Hey, enjoy yourself. Have a good time. And yeah, we'll see you when you're back. In Henny. uh, all right. Let's take a peek at the dollar and see where we are then. Nope, still I'm still waiting on 104,557. Still waiting on that number. Hmm. All right, on a higher time frame in 1 hour, we did trade into the new day opening gap from February the 1st. So that would have been, I believe, Thursday of last week. It's where we traded into now, and we see price finding some level of support where it's not pushing lower. We still don't have a big dig higher, but it has temporarily slowed down the movement downwards. Still another 3 minutes before we get to half past the hour. Yep. As I look, I do see what appears to be relative equal highs. Whether you take that one or these two, At 10, 15. Yeah, this could be a retracement level, which then goes to find these lows afterwards. Could be a quick 40 points there, assuming price is still looking for lower values. Mm. Yeah, you're already in the fair value gap on the 5 minute. On this leg, for the entire leg, or right, so this is how I would do it for the entire leg. So we'd be looking at 50% at 17,666 or 667, 17,667. But if I just established it on this leg, then it would be right here. So then you see the 50% already being achieved at 631 and a half. Yep. So my starting point is always the candle body. And then my ending point is the wick on the other side, the extreme point. Or you could take it from here, actually. Just because this area up here, it traded up, it traded down, traded back into and away. So you can see this as balanced price. So if price is looking for lower prices, there's no reason to come back up here since it's all balanced so far. So it may be a retracement to this level. Right, so this 50% would be at 653 or 652.75. All right. Possibly there was a fair value gap that's been disrespected just now, been invalidated. So could it be an inverted? Very well, it could be. It really depends on where the current candle closes. So we'll have to wait for that first, and that's another. Yeah, we just started this 4 hour candle, so we have another 3.5 hours. So yeah, so let's wait and see where this candle lands when we get to lunchtime. Hey everyone, we are halfway through our session this morning, so I want to thank everyone for being here so far. And for all the returning subscribers, even new people, if you're brand new, you've never been here, or it's your first couple times that you've never introduced yourself, go ahead and chat and introduce yourself. Let us know where you're coming from and how long you've been trading. And don't feel bad if you're brand new to trading. Even if you're brand new, just say you're brand new to trading and you're here just to learn. Just let us know where you're coming from and what your skill level is. Okay, crypto. If you're looking for previous day low, that's going to be a good distance away. We're looking at 463. So you're talking about another 150 points below where we currently are. Hmm. Okay, yeah, the entire dealing range. I see what you're saying. Hmm. Looks like these most recent hourly lows are going to be swept. We're going to see lower prices here. All right, let me check and see where we may land. What's the next pool of liquidity? Yep. We officially moved to 70.8% on the retracement. Now, all three indices have at least achieved that level. We have S&P still hovering at 78%. And of course, the Dow is well below the 100%. So full retracement there. We finally, the dollar has pushed through that second level. Second level I had. Let's go ahead and show that so everyone can remember where we were. Okay. So that's that second level. So we did see the dollar finally push through there on the hourly. Also have to gather another target for the dollar. If we don't see it turn around soon, we'll figure out where the next pool of liquidity is on the buy side for them. Again, Dow is pushing out of the screen, well below Friday's range. And we still had S&P. It was hovering around 78 and now just made a push. And now we're at 83 and we're pushing 78 on Nasdaq. So crypto might actually be onto something where we're looking at full retracement for Nasdaq, S&P, and the Dow. Okay, but this is right on time, especially if we have a bullish bias to have earlier in the week push for lower prices. Go ahead and put in the low of the week, either Monday or Tuesday, and then we look for the rest of the week, potentially put in those higher prices we were looking for. So, all right, switch back over. Mm, all right, Dustin, you're up 100. Excellent. All right, before the next macro period and before we get into our final hour of this morning session, I'm going to run off and get my last cup of coffee. While I'm doing that, for anyone who hasn't hit the like button yet, go ahead and do that. Let's make sure YouTube is continuing to promote the channel to other live traders, others who are looking for exactly what we have here. So go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're brand new and you haven't subscribed yet, while you're at it, hit the subscribe button as well. Make sure that you always get invited to all the live streams and you get the reminder. So again, I'll be back in just 2 minutes. Well, TJ, it's a good morning, good Monday morning for you. Go down to a lower time frame here, just get a better view on the last few candles or what's actually been occurring in the last 10 minutes or so. Okay, so we had a sweep of a low. Now this is on the 1 minute. So we had a sweep of a low and then sort of getting price pushing out of this level now. Let me mark up New York highs since we got rid of the session lows and highs. All the lows have been taken. It's just this New York high that's open, so I'm going to make sure we don't lose it. Right, and oh, okay, sweet. New York highs exists, so it's the high here at 8 o'clock. So what I'll do is I'll drop these equal highs. We don't really need it. What we'll do is we'll stretch this over to 8 o'clock and have it sit there as a New York high. We can see that we have equal highs that are really close to it. So we'll expect all those levels to go together. Okay, we're at 11 o'clock now. One more hour in this morning session. Yeah, DJ, that salted caramel whiskey you're talking about sounds like something that I picked up when I was in Gatlinburg the last time. Mm. Yeah, it's got a lower time frame here still fighting some of those bearish fair value gaps. So let's go and just scale through these lower time frames to see if there's anything present on one of them that's not on the others. It looks like the higher time frame that we go, that small little sliver of a bullish fair value gap seems to be getting larger. So that might be a good sign as we get in. Let's go to the 4 minute and see what's there. Okay, nothing on the 4 minute. All right, let's go back to the 3 minute and hold tight there. Yeah, I tried several when I was there as well. It was a bunch of good flavors. I'd say probably the most unique flavor I tried, but I wasn't a huge fan of it, but it was on point. Like it tastes just like it was moon pie. Moon pie, you know, the little dessert, the marshmallow dessert, moon pie was one of those. Okay, Vivian. Yeah. Okay, that's good to hear. I haven't traded CFDs or even demoed CFDs in so long. Once I found out about futures, but that's good to hear for those who are still trading CFDs or who are limited to CFDs. Yeah, it was decent. I'm not a huge marshmallow fan, but I'm just saying the whoever created that drink, it tasted just like it. But no, it wasn't. It's not a favorite of mine for sure. And it did have a sort of a milky, creamy consistency to it, so it wasn't just like straight whiskey. Oh, peach mango. Okay, that sounds good. All right, I'm waiting for price to break out of this range here. See if it can trade above this fair value gap and close above. Mm, 4, 5. Nope. Okay, Vivian. Yeah, that's good. You're up 1,000 already on the 50K demo. Two more, and you would have passed a live account if you were in a evaluation. So yeah, keep it up, Vivian. Keep up the good work. Mm-hmm. Right, looks like this candle wants to push past that fair value gap, which is a good sign. Okay. Got another minute before this 5 minute candle closes. Just want to see if it can at least dig into this breaker a little bit. Okay, it has done that so far. We want to see if it can push a little deeper. And if not this candle, then we'll wait for the next candle and see if that one can do it. Mm. Okay. Great so far. We still have not been able to break this breaker. However, we are. Looks like we're setting up a nice fair value gap here for some level of support. Maybe a breakaway of some kind. Depends on if we can push through this breaker pretty quickly. Let's see. Okay, so it looks like all time frames 3, 4, and 5 are setting up the same way, as well as 2. All right, so the same fair value gap is sitting on all of them. Hmm. So another minute on a 5-minute chart. So we had our last candle just dig in there just a little bit. Next candle traded into 50%. So far as this last minute is rejecting out. And so we'll probably most likely have to wait for the next candle to see if it either invalidates this fair value gap by trading lower, or if it finds support, just like this most recent candle, and then we dig into it and give it another try. Okay, so close inside for the second consecutive candle, a little bit higher than the last one. Okay, another good sign. We have taken out last candle's high, so we still see higher prices coming. We're getting to the upper edge of the breaker. Still early in the candle, but it's a good sign. Well, glad you're liking futures now, Vivian. Really happy to see that. After, good job. And good morning. Welcome. Okay, getting close to the conclusion of another candle. Let's see where this one closes. The previous two have closed with a little bit of bullish momentum at the end. Right here's our swing high. And let's see if we can take out last candle's high. This is on a 2-minute chart, so that's a good sign to see. But let's move up to the 3 and up to the 5 and see how those are doing. Oh, there we go. That's a good sign. And let's see how this one closes out for the last 45 seconds. If we get a big push and a close above. All right, we did have a break above. 20 seconds to close out this candle. Let's see where we land. All right, let's see if this breaker holds for us. Right down to the lower extremities there. See if we can get a push up or if this is going to be an invalid trade. See where this candle closes out at. Okay. Struggling to get higher prices right now, and that invalidates the trade. I did move my stop loss just a little bit because I survived by a couple ticks last time. And I thought it wouldn't come back down to sweep this low. So I thought I could adjust the stop loss and it would have got me anyway. All right. Let's go back to 5 minute, see where everything is. All right, let's see how price reacts when it retests this fair value gap. In fact, let's see if it can test the fair value gap and close inside of the breaker. Mhm. Nope, looks like they're not exhausted yet, or at least the bulls haven't taken over, or not really pushing hard. Mhm. Yes, all good. All right, once again, we're looking to see how the reaction, what type of reaction we get once we enter 606. Yeah, I think that was that loss I just took. I think it was around 11 or 12 points. So it was equivalent to a 5-point stop loss on ES. It's okay. We'll get one. All right, we never quite made it to the stop loss on the 5 minute. Right, we saw that we made a a push towards it, but never really got there. And now we're still returning to the previous highs on the 5-minute that we saw that prompted the long here from the breaker. So I'm going back down to lower time frames and just see if everything still adds up to where the breaker is the obvious entry. Right, because even the entry here, there was a fair value gap right here created. Okay, so that entry was also based on having a fair value gap there, and it did not hold. So price just continued to trade below, and it even closed below the breaker. But now it made a big bullish movement back in, and then we have another fair value gap just created. I don't know anyone else in the room, anyone in the long right now of this candle, the last one, the most recent one. Okay, all right, Jay, good job, congratulations on that. So it looks like I was just a tad bit early. It looks like 624.50, 625.50. Okay. Okay. Eat. So that high has now been taken. ahead and remove all this. Getting too close to lunchtime for me. I'm not going to be able to manage the trade. Yep. I'll be right back, everyone. Give me 2 minutes, please. All right, I see prices now pushed forward, made a new high, eclipsing the last 5-minute candle that we had here. Did not retrace back to the breaker. You see now the size that it wants to create for the fair value gap. There we go. No. So this breaker became valid when it closed above. You can argue whether it's invalid when it pierced through and closed below. But we had an immediate uh, retracement and immediate takeover back of the breaker. So it's similar to like if you see a fair value gap that gets invalidated in the immediate next candle, races above, um, essentially erasing that invalidation. So you can argue whether it was invalid here, but it was actually, this is a bullish breaker. So you need to break below and then you need to break above and close. So it's, remember, it's the low, high, lower low, higher high. And then you take a long when it retraces back in. Then you want to take a long out of here. Right, but even then, so I minimized the size of the breaker down to just the candle bodies. But essentially you could include the wicks and your breaker is much larger. Therefore, there was never an invalidation. And in fact, this candle right here just created the validation on the larger size. I was looking to reduce risk because you don't want to take a trade at 636 and have a stop loss down at 600. So you're talking about 35 points. So that's why I reduced it down to just the candle bodies, hoping to find an entry there that would hold. Of course, we know the results of that now. It didn't hold. But that's sort of some of the theory around breakers. Hey, Shark, good morning. see, where are we? It would be here. 21 up to 25. So it would be this. Right, so here, boom, boom. So that's it on the 1 minute. So this is what that 1 minute range looks like on the 5 minute. Remember the 5 minute, I had it down just on the candle bodies. Now in the 1 minute, you see those candle bodies was a series of 4 or 5 candles, which are a bit larger. No problem, Gavin. All right, so we had a trade all the way down into almost 50% of this larger range coming from the 1 minute. So let me go ahead and just mark this up so we all know where this came from. Yep. So you can target, we have equal highs, and just above equal highs is the New York high. So I would target New York high, 739. So that's about 100 points from where we are if we continue to get bullish momentum here. And if you look at this, this looks very similar to a market maker model. If you're looking for places to grab partials, if we continue to see higher prices, just remember we have the midnight open at 684 or the 8:30 opens sitting here at 706. Also here shaded in orange is our gaps, our new week opening gap, which since this is Monday, it's also our new day opening gap. Nope. I was in a trade before. My trade already finished. I lost my trade. I was in a trade over here, and then it traded down and stopped me out below where I had the breaker for on the 5 minute. This block you see here is the breaker from the 1 minute, so it's a larger range. And at that time on the 1 minute chart, so far the breaker has held, and we see higher prices right now. So I'm not in a trade, but I was in a trade for this same similar trade idea. It was just on the 5 minute, and my trade is over. Nope, I'm not going to take this one because I don't want to manage it during lunch. Lunch is in another 10 minutes. So I'm going to be gone, so I'm not going to take it. Had it worked out when I was trying to get in at 11:15 or so, I would have been in and would have taken that trade and tried to manage that one. But we're too close to lunch now. But I do still believe in it. Darius, I am now 3 years, and maybe another week or so I'll hit the 3 year mark. How about yourself? I think this is the first time I've seen you in the chat. Oh no, crypto, it's okay. Yeah, it's all good. I even thought that it would hold a little better having taken it on the 5 minute as opposed to 1 minute, but hey, it happens. It was a relatively low risk. It was 12 points, I believe, stop loss. Yep. Half a year. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for being here, and it's your second day, so I'm glad you came back. And hopefully you find this worthwhile and educational and a benefit to your trading journey. Hey everyone, we have about 10 minutes remaining. So if you go ahead and put in your final questions, put everything into the chat that you want to bring up, and let's make sure we get those answered before we get off this morning. And as a reminder to anyone who's brand new, we do have an afternoon session at 1300. So we break for an hour and then we come back. So make sure you're tuned in if you're available. If not, we'll catch you again tomorrow morning if you're an AM trader. Yep. I will say this is a good sign though, that we had a closure just above, open just above, didn't even trade inside, just straight up without a down wick. That's showing a willingness of price to seek higher values. All right. Anyone who did take this breaker, you're up 25 points already. Again, remember potential partials areas is here at the midnight open. You have the midnight open, you have the new week opening gap, and you have the 830, all sitting between 684 and 706. After that, then it's just pretty much the New York high that's there. We do have a bearish breaker on the 15-minute that sent price down earlier. So you'll want to break through that as well. So just keep all those levels in mind as you're trading over the next 10 minutes as well as into the lunch hour. Yeah, Dustin. The last few weeks, I will say lunch has been good to people who like to trade during that time frame. It's either giving you a really good entry just before lunch and allowing you the first half hour to make some good returns, or it's giving you a really good entry early on in lunch and just rode it all the way till 1 o'clock. All right. Any final questions, anyone? Any new people who thought might have been interrupting earlier, but have a burning question they need to ask? Go ahead and do it now while there's not a lot going on and we're getting ready to end our session. Just want to make sure that you're all squared away and ready to go prior to our next session starting. So looks like our next candle also pierced the previous candle's high just by a little bit. So it's still making higher values. It's just not in a hurry to get there. That's all. Previous candle high 655 and 3/4, and this one is 656 flat. So one tick higher than the previous candle. If you're in a trade already, make sure you know where you'd like to exit if it turns around on you. Also go ahead and make sure your TPs are set so you know where you want to exit on the higher side as well. Cool, calm. As I mentioned, if you're in a long, I have these levels marked up. So you have the midnight open, you have the new week opening gap, which is this orange area. You also have the 8:30 open. So those are 3 levels that you'll hit prior to, ultimately we're looking at the New York high. So you're looking at getting the high of the day, right? But before it gets there, there are several obstacles that price may either stall or completely turn around from. So if you're in with multiple contracts, you want to look for putting in maybe some partials there, or maybe considering exiting your trade there, depending on where you entered and what your goals and target was for the day. But ultimately, we're looking for the New York high to be swept, and that's at 17,739 and a half. Just not sure when that's going to happen. Okay, one more minute. Any final questions? Touching the VWAP. Okay. All right. For any of you who trade VWAP, Tommy just mentioned that it's touching. I can't see the VWAP. I'm assuming it's a bearish one. So just keep that in mind. I come back, Robin, 1300. So give me 1 hour. I'll be back. There should be another invitation out there already, Robin. If you're subscribed, then you should have in about 30 minutes. 30 minutes before we come on, it'll send you a reminder. All right. Looks like we have concluded all the questions. So thank you guys. Thank you all. If you haven't, again, hit the like button on your way out. If you're brand new or you do like the sessions and you want to get more, make sure you're subscribing so you can get the invitations. I'm going to break for an hour and we'll be back. So cheers, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time.